Have you ever been in a situation where someone asked you to introduce yourself in English and you felt stuck? Maybe the words didn't come to you. Maybe you didn't know what to tell them about yourself. Well, if you answered yes to either of those questions, today's lesson is for you because I'm going to give you 3 simple steps. That's right. 1, 2, 3. 3 simple steps to help you master your English introduction. It's so simple. I'm Teacher Tiffany. Let's jump right in. All right, so there are 3 simple steps, and we're going to start by looking at the first step. The first step is to tell them the type of person you are. Now, the focus is your character and personality. And let me explain this a little bit more. You see, when you're going to an interview, the first thing they're going to ask you to do, of course, is to introduce yourself. But you have to remember, usually, those individuals have already looked at your CV. They've already seen your resume. So it's not the time for you to tell them, I went to this school, I have this degree. No, instead, they want to know more about you as a person. So the first step, the first part of your introduction is telling them who you are as a person. Now, you do that in 2 parts. The first part is your character. This helps them get a better understanding of your core values. In other words, the things that are important to you. That's right. That means you need to think about this. Hey, what's important to you? Who are you as an individual? This is the first portion. Now, after you've explained your character, you're going to also talk about your personality. This helps them get a better understanding of how you will blend with the current individuals at their company. And this is something that I loved explaining to my students when I was in South Korea, because it's an aspect of Western culture that many times students, maybe like you, don't realize or understand the importance of. You see, in Western culture, it's all about, being with the group, of course. You want to be an individual, but you also want to blend with the group in a way that makes things interesting, creates harmony. So when you first come to the interview, you're starting off by telling them, hey, these are my values, and also this is my personality. So as you all know, I'm a very happy person. I'm very outgoing, and I love being around people too. You can tell that. And actually, the first video you saw from me, you assessed that without even realizing it. Like, wow, Teacher Tiffany seems to be a very happy person. Something about her seems really genuine. You started off by making an assessment of me based on my character and my personality, even without you realizing it. That's why this is the most important part to start off with for your introduction. So let's see what this looks like, okay? We have an example from a young lady. All right, here's the example. Again, remember her character and personality. Here she goes. Hello, my name is Samantha Smith. I am a very diligent and honest person. I also have a very outgoing and friendly personality. Immediately, she starts off by telling something about herself, her character, and her personality. Now, there's a word in here that I want to practice with you for pronunciation. Underline and bolded. Diligent. After me, diligent. Excellent. Again, diligent. Nice. Last time, diligent. Excellent. Now, I'm also a very diligent person, but what does this word mean? Now, the word diligent just means having or showing care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. Again, giving 110% when you work. We say you are a diligent person. Now we're seeing that Samantha started off her introduction in an amazing way. We immediately know that her character is, wow, she's very diligent. And her personality, she said she's outgoing and friendly. So immediately in the mind of the interviewer, she would probably work well with our group. Starting off the introduction again, step 1, telling the type of person you are. All right, now let's go to step number 2, another important step. Your experience briefly. Here we go. The focus is describing a specific experience. Now, again, this is something that is very unique about an introduction in English. Maybe you've never heard this before. After you've described yourself, you've given information about your character and your personality, you then need to talk about an experience. Now, I'm going to explain how to pick a specific experience, but this is very important, and it goes back to Western culture and to the English language. Many times when you're speaking in English, you think it's about your words and the grammar, but actually it's about your ability to express yourself and also talk about your experiences in the way that a person listening to you can understand. The same is true for your introduction. So, your experience briefly, part 2, we have, again, step 2 also has 2 parts. First, related to the interview. Again, this shows that you have taken the time to do some research about the position and the company. So you're not going to tell an experience or a story that has nothing to do with your job. You want to make sure the experience you choose relates to the job you're trying to get. Now, part 2 of this step is right here. Life-changing experience. This shows that you are able to think logically about your life and about business because you have to make a connection. Again, giving a good introduction in English, it's not about the words you use. It's about the way you organize your ideas and your thoughts. So again, in step 2, you're talking about your experience as it relates to the job you're trying to get. And again, you're saying how this experience connects to your job or the job you want to get, and it shows the person listening to you, the interviewer, that you know how to think logically, that you can connect different experiences in your life, and it makes you look like a better candidate, and your introduction, seems amazing. Now, I want to pause real quick. Remember I told you at the beginning that there's a special event that I've created for you. You see, I'm teaching you how to give a great introduction in English, and we have one more step. But there are so many different things you need to learn to give a good introduction and to pass an English interview and to even do well in a business environment. And that's exactly why the Business English Week was created. Register for free for the Business English Week right now. That's right. This free event will help you take your career to the next level. Join Teacher Julie and I and register for free right now. The link is in the description. Now, I created this Business English Week along with Teacher Julie, again, to help you pass an English interview, to help you excel in your career, and to take your career to the next level. This lesson that I'm teaching you today about giving a good introduction and using these 3 simple steps is just the beginning. If you really want to go to the next level, you have to join us for the Business English Week. Now, again, it's a totally free event. The link is right in the description. You can join us for this event. And trust me, if you're learning a lot from what I'm teaching you about introductions, you are going to love the Business English Week. So again, click the link in the description, join us, register for free, and we can't wait to see you there. All right, so let's keep going on now. Again, with step 2, I explained talking about your experience briefly. We have related to the interview and a life-changing experience. So let's see an example. Again, state how it relates to your interview plus your life-changing experience. Here we go. I have traveled all over the world, but my favorite country is South Korea. During my time there, I learned many things about their culture and language. The main thing I learned was the importance of embracing and respecting other cultures. As a global company, I believe that this is a philosophy you also value. This is amazing. Now, if I was interviewing anyone and they gave this part of their interview introduction, I would be amazed. Why? Because they started talking about their experience in South Korea. Again, I was in South Korea, but this is the example that's being given. And it was very interesting. They loved it and they learned a lot about cultures. And then immediately a connection was made to the position they're trying to get. Oh, as a global company, I believe you also value respecting other cultures. Immediately, the interviewer realizes, wow, this person has a good character, a good personality, step one, and step two, has had some life experiences that we can benefit from at this company. This is amazing. Now, in the midst of the answer, there was a word that I want to go over with you really quickly. It was embracing. So after me, embracing. Excellent. Again, embracing. Good. Last time, embracing. Good job. Now, the word embracing, again, it came out in the response. It just means to accept or support a belief, a theory, or change willingly and enthusiastically. So the person, again, in their introduction is giving so much information about who they are as an individual and their experiences and how their experiences have made them a better individual prepared to get this job, right? Now, that was just step two. So what about step three? This introduction is already looking amazing. Now, step three of a good introduction in English is life philosophy. So here we go. Now, your focus is your philosophy and how it developed. Again, this is why I am encouraging you as you prepare your introduction. You need to make sure you have followed these three steps. Think about your ideas, not just about the words, not just about the English grammar. Think about your ideas. What do you believe in? What do you hold true? What do you hold as being important? Your philosophy and how it developed. Now, there are three parts to this one. The first part is the explanation. You see, the goal is to give more details about the way you think and the way you connect with others around you. Then you're going to talk about how it developed. This helps them understand the process you went through to come to the current ideas you value. Now, I want to emphasize, this does not mean that your introduction needs to be 15 minutes. No, the example that we're looking at can be done in 2 minutes, but it includes all three steps, and that is why it's so good. So when you're at this third step about your philosophy, your life philosophy, don't stress about speaking for a long period of time. No, you need to condense and make sure your answer is concise and brief. This is what shows that you're giving a good introduction and that you're fluent. So again, you're talking about the past, how it developed, and part three is its effect on your life. This helps them, the person listening to you, the interviewer, understand how your thoughts affect your actions and also how you personally look at life, whether pessimistically or optimistically. So again, this is so important for you to organize this section. This step is very important, your life philosophy. So let's see how the individual in our example actually explained her philosophy. Here we go. Here's the example. Again, state what it is, how it can help you at the company, and connect it to your future. Here we go. My personal life philosophy is we all grow when we respect and learn from each other. I developed this philosophy after working with people from various cultures, and it has completely changed my life. Look how fast she was able to say her answer, give her answer, right? She was able to really explain her life philosophy in a clear way so that even we understood, right? Now, there was something at the very end that she said, changed my life. Let me explain what this means. This means to make a huge difference or a big difference or to have a big impact on one's life. So this individual was able to wrap up her introduction, an amazing introduction in English, with telling her life philosophy. So she followed the three steps. Again, step one being telling the type of person you are, talking about your character and your personality. Step number two, talking about your experience, connecting it to the job and how it would help you. And then finally, step three, your life philosophy. Listen, if you want to give a good introduction in English, all you have to do is follow these three simple steps. I hope you enjoyed this lesson.